for our friends, me, Danny, Christina. We'll be doing a Q&A and bingo, giving away walk-in night virtual psychic fair admission, all sorts of cool prizes. So 781-664-3585. Text your name, address, and I'll send you a bingo ticket, bingo card, and prizes tonight. Okay. Again, if you need that thing on YouTube at Ask Ivy, so you can go there and your ticket by texting. Tina, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. We're on now, and we're on YouTube. Getting everybody involved here to online bingo tonight. It should be fun.
Awesome.
Hi, Tracy. Hi, Chicken Mama. As you can see down at the bottom, we're doing a bingo tonight. The sermon church show, I guess, right? It's a special tonight. Will be happening at 8, starting at 8. And we'll have, there we go. We've got people coming in already. Fantastic. So, yes, online church. You can text the number down at the bottom of your screen, 781-664-3585. An email address. I will get you your bingo card as soon as I can. And then that way we can start giving away prizes. It's going to be a great night. I'm excited. Christina, can you believe it's been a year?
No, it's crazy.
Oop. Can you hear me, Christina?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you believe it's been a year already?
No, that's crazy.
I know. It's nuts. So this is going to be fun tonight, I think. If you hadn't already posted your questions online, we got a bunch of you who posted them in the various. Thank you so much. But please on TikTok, YouTube, please post your for Christina, for Ivy, for Danny, for me, about roots in general. And we'll be taking those down and answering them tonight. And again, 781-3585. Text your name and email address, and I'll get you your bingo card. Give away some fabulous prizes tonight. We've got readings with Christina, readings with me, readings with Ivy, walk-in night psychic fair tickets. So you guys want to ask, please do. We'll be taking those now. What's that? Oh, no, thanks. Right. Okay, perfect.
You know if there's anything I can help with?
No.
And you need a water. You want to come join?
No, I got all my stuff in the other room.
Okay. So you're going to be, where are you?
Just for that way, I'm plugged to the microphone for bingo numbers.
Okay. Hi.
Okay. Chicken Mama, it's at the screen, scrolling across. It's 781-664-3585. Here. Everybody here on TikTok, thank you for tuning in. We got our show starting in a couple minutes. I'm going to post here the phone number to text your name and email address for your free bingo.
Gotta give up some. Can't chase you all day. Can't get the goods.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Everybody, start posting your questions as well. Taking them down, and we'll get to them shortly.
And what kind of questions again?
Yep, these are questions about Ivy, Christina, spirituality, astrology, Danny, spirituality. anything about them personally you want to ask, feel free. Paul, Casey, me, tarot, healing arts in general, anything, and Roots Revival, or what we do here, anything about us and our church. Tonight's special 1 year of, well, we've been around for 1 year, and this is a show. It's going to be a fun event. And if you missed it at the beginning, we're having online church bingo, away readings, and other prizes. So text the number above for your free ticket, name and email.
Do they know that they should bring a card out, or?
Yeah, so when you get your bingo card, it's just going to, so if you want to draw it out on a piece of paper for yourself to make it easier, or if you have it on your and you can mark it off in a editing program like, X here might be easier for you. It's not an automated thing here, just a file that I'm going to send. All right, good. We got people. This is good. Thank you. Hunter. Andrea. Someone without a name.
Yeah, I just really want them to understand that as we get closer, that they can't mark. Look like you can, but you can't. So they have a plan for that.
Yep, you can use
Bingo goes fast.
Yeah, mark it on the pen and paper, or on in a graphic thing on your phone if you're watching this, but it won't be an interactive sheet. So it's just a paper. All right, good. Thank you, everybody. It's going to be a fun night. Yeah, I can't send them yet. If you have any questions or trouble with it, the phone number there, text. I'll be sending them out, or asking the feed if you're having any issues. I will send the email and then text you by that it was sent.
How many more?
It's 7:58.
58. Okay.
I see. Sorry, there was leaks on your side of things, so I muted you for a sec.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Again, this is the 1 year anniversary of InterFaith. So we'll be taking questions from you tonight about us, about the church, things you want to ask individually of Ivy, of Christina, Danny. Feel free to start posting those now. We'll be taking those down. And we're also doing online. Right? So for your free bingo card for reading prizes, text 781-664-35, your name and email address, and I'll get the card over to you in just a minute, and we can get the show underway and give away some wonderful prizes tonight. I think it's going to be a great time. We already have some great questions pouring in and a lot of good people joining in for bingo. Yep, the questions are about church or the individual reverends and spirituality, how we came into this, what our beliefs are. Anything you want to. It's not like the Ask Ivy show where you would be asking Ivy for messages from love, readings on your future. That's a completely different show. This is the Roots Revival into Sunday service, our church. This is our 1 year anniversary special. So trouble hearing or seeing with the TikTok connection, we're also on YouTube. Ivy. The link is in Ivy's bio.
Should I have a seat?
Yes, please.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
Okay, am I going to be reading off this computer then? Okay, and am I able to lift it
You can put it
wherever I want?
Yeah, just watch to the camera.
Watch
Would it be better here?
Here, hey everybody. Oh, you talk about this. Well, maybe it's.
Well, I just if I moved it fast, it would pull it. Does that look? Can you see better?
Oh, this is TikTok. Oh, YouTube. Yay. Here we go. Hey, Christina, Reverend Danny, everyone tuning in through TikTok and YouTube. Welcome, everybody. All right. And you checked audio and everything earlier?
Well, people have been posting, so I didn't.
Okay, so you guys, I'm assuming, okay, thumbs up, please, from TikTok and YouTube. If you guys could please just let, before we get started, that you can hear me and see me all right. If you guys...
I hear like a little bit of choppiness, like in and out with the sound. And somebody else commented that too, so.
Okay, so yeah, we are definitely having issues with audio. All right, thank you. We're going to give that a second. Get fixed. And I'm so excited for this. Thanks again, everybody. We are at our 1 year here for Roots Revival Interfaith. I can't believe how quick the time flew by and how much we've grown. It really is phenomenal. And I just want to say a special thank you to you guys on TikTok because every week when we do our Sunday service, we get this ranking of how we did, how many people interacted, and we're doing better. Every week we rank around 99%. So we are, you guys are more engaging and we see a bigger following than 99% of other churches out there. And I think that's interesting because that's what Roots Revival is all about. It's about touching the hearts of those of us that are seeking for a more truthful journey in our lives. And we're definitely feeling that. So very exciting, very non-traditional, of course. We are here, astrology, numerology, intuitive intelligence. Before we go ahead and get started, Paul, I just want to make sure that the audio is good. Then we have couple people saying it's cutting in and out, but it seems to mostly just be Paul and I is the problem. So Paul, just wait for you to give me that heads up that we're good. Also, anybody on TikTok, if you have any trouble with the audio or, you know, the camera itself, the visual here, switch over to YouTube at Ask Ivy. We good, Paul?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't.
You're on mute.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was yelling to you.
Okay, good. So welcome everybody. We are Roots Revival Interfaith. This is our 1 year anniversary service, and we're doing church bingo tonight to celebrate. We're giving away some fun prizes. So if you didn't already do so, get your bingo card now. Paul is helping you guys in the comment sections to get those bingo cards. How do they do that, Paul?
They text name and email address to the number scrolling at the bottom of the screen, 781-664-3585.
All right, very good. So then once you guys get your bingo card, it's important to understand it looks like you're going to be able to just sort of tap on it and work it, but it's not going to work that way. So you're going to have to use a different like app and editing, you know, to be able to circle it. Or you could, if you're old school like me, just get a piece of paper and, you know, a pencil and do it that way. So soon as you guys get bingo, you're going to want to announce that. We have prizes today for passes for our monthly walk-in night psychic fairs, showcasing students and graduates of the Ivy League Psychic Academy. Different types of readings at the call center 7 days a week with Reverend Danny, our numerologist, Reverend Christina, our astrologer, Reverend Paul Casey, Healing Arts, and I'm giving away a 15-minute reading, all kinds of good stuff. Okay, so get your card now. And a couple of quick announcements before we go ahead and start taking your questions. We are, because this is the anniversary show, we're taking questions that you may have, whether it be for me, for Reverend Danny, Reverend Christina, Reverend Paul. Post them now. These can be questions about anything, our faith, our particular area of study, the church itself, and we'll try to get to everybody. A couple quick announcements while we let people tune in here. We do have the reality of relationships mini class coming up. That's going to be, what is that, Paul? Next Wednesday? This upcoming Tuesday? Okay, so this upcoming Tuesday with Reverend Christina and I. So we're talking about the complications that we often see in relationship dynamics where maybe we want too much, we expected too much, we hope for too much. Sometimes we put our all into a relationship and then we can't understand why it didn't work out. And some relationships are incredibly overwhelming, no matter how much effort you put in. They just don't seem to make sense, or they're haunting. You can even leave a relationship and years later you feel like it's kind of following you in your thoughts and your dreams, and you can't seem to let go. So Reverend Christina and I want to talk about how relationship contracts are more where your focus should be versus how you emotionally feel about relationships. Contracts are what you sign on to before you come to Earth. I'm going to be looking at it from an intuitive perspective, and she's going to be looking at it from an astrological perspective. Okay, so that's this upcoming Tuesday, 8 p.m. here on TikTok and on YouTube. Reverend Danny's numerology classes are also starting soon. Reverend Danny, can you unmute yourself and give them the dates on that, please?
Sure. Our course is going to run every Tuesday in March. There are 5 Tuesdays in March. So starting, I believe, March 2nd is when we are going to, March 1st, Tuesday, March 1st. And the 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th will all be meeting together. And I'm very much looking forward to being able to have great conversations about numerology and to review everyone's numerology chart with them and talk about how numbers follow them.
It's so exciting. It's a really great class. Reverend Paul is also doing Reiki. So if you're looking to get Reiki certified, and we don't turn you away if you got your levels 1 and 2 somewhere else, you can also just come in for your masters if you want to do that. But we do them all on the same day. So levels 1, 2, as well as your masters, Reiki training and certification on April 2nd. Now, anything you get certified in through the Academy means that you can start working for the Academy for our public fairs and events. So keep that in mind. Okay. And if you want to get on the early bird wait list, go to psychicmediumshipcourse.com for the psychic mediumship course starting April 25th. However, we have just gone evergreen. So if you want to jump in for the current class, you can jump in now at any time. So check that out. All right. Very good. Reverend Paul, how are we doing? Are we ready to start bingo and start getting into some questions here? Again, you guys, please give this video a thumbs up. Wherever you are, feel free to subscribe and post your questions for any of us about anything. And we're going to get to those. We're about to start bingo, I do believe. Are we good to go?
You have a couple more to send.
A couple more? Okay, so while Paul gets those bingo cards out, let's go ahead and get started with our first question. Do you want to pop that up for me? Yeah. Okay. So I'll just sort of bounce these around to you guys as they come in. Okay, again, if you guys are just tuning in late, this is our thank you 1-year anniversary show for Roots Revival Interfaith. All right, so we have a question here from a Tamara. This is for all of us, so I'll just sort of pass the mic on, okay? Tamara wants to know, for all of you, what led you to your spirituality and your specific calling? Okay, I'll go first, and then Christina, I'm going to pass it on to you, okay? All right, great question. Thank you for that, Tamara. What led me to my spirituality and my specific calling? I would say that I always had intuitive intelligence that was fairly off the charts. because family was identifying it, teachers at school were identifying it. So other adults knew that I had something going on. And within my family system, they were identifying that it was mediumship or it was psychic ability. But within the school system, they were thinking that I had some kind of disorder, maybe. And so I would get sent off to a lot of different doctors and constant misdiagnoses, or they couldn't diagnose me. No one could really figure out what the heck was going on. And I was told, that even though we were not supposed to talk about spirituality at school, because for a while I went to Catholic school, so I was told by my family to hide it and to deny it. But at home, we talked about mediumship all the time. We talked about spirits in our family and our ancestors all the time. And I'm Puerto Rican. I'm Taino Arawak. And on both sides of my family, whether they were white or they were Hispanic, it was just a common dialogue. And so I would say that that's when it really kicked in for me, is around 5-6 years old, when I realized that other adults in mainstream society, that teachers and people in the Catholic system, that they weren't going to understand it. And I felt like I had to choose, was I going to abandon who I really was and these great communications I was having with spirit, and my psychic abilities that I knew were accurate? Was I going to abandon that and give in to that sort of, it felt like a brainwashing system to me, where I was going to believe it was demonic or bad, or I was mentally ill? It was sort of like, was I going to sell myself out, or was I going to cut them off from influencing me? And so that's sort of when I made that decision, I think around 5-6 years old, to really start tuning out adults who didn't understand what I was. And I just kept feeding it on my own. And so it grew. Yeah. And so that's what led me into psychic, mediumistic, and empathic, training through the school and ultimately the church. Christina, what about you?
Yeah, I think that I was always intuitive, but I didn't know what to call it, I just kind of knew I was right about certain things a lot, and I had a lot of feelings that came true. And my mom, when I was a teenager, my mom would pull out astrology books, and she had all of our charts printed out. She really didn't know what she was doing, but we would be fascinated by the book, and and I would steal the book and try to figure it out. And back then, there was no computers or anything like that. So, that was very limited, but, I don't know. I was always very intrigued. And then, years later, I actually, there was a couple predictions that, just things I knew, I had gotten a fortune cookie, and I knew I had to play those numbers. And then I won $60 on the numbers, things like that, And then September 11th happened, and I had dreamt about it 2 weeks beforehand. And the only person I told was my mom. So she knew when the planes hit. So, and then I knew something was up, and I just couldn't quite put my finger on how. So I went back to the astrology, and, because there was computers and things like that, I could learn more. And then I found Ivy, and I explored mediumship and, and tarot and all these things, and everything started to kind of come together. And I was thinking about this the other day, actually. I think Danny and I were talking about this. I started studying hardcore astrology, and you and I, we kept in touch, but we really didn't talk too much. And then all of a sudden, right at the right time, you called me and you're like, you need to do astrology for me for a fair. And I was like, what? And it kind of it was the perfect timing. So everything happens in its own timing. It's perfect divine timing. So I feel like that's what happened with me. It's nice for my own children to have my training, you know what I mean? To recognize it, because I didn't have that as growing up. That would have been more beneficial to be able to recognize it. But that's how I got started.
That's so wild too, that your mom was into it, but still not fully understanding what it was.
Yeah, she was fascinated by it. She would just look at it, and she would look up, you would look up your sun sign, you would look up your Mars sign, but, it didn't tell you a whole lot, Right. And people would be like, oh, that's just garbage, that doesn't, it's just fake, and I'd be like, no, it's not, Right. So it's interesting.
Love it. Reverend Danny, what about you?
So for me, I think similarly to the both of you, I have felt connected to spirit. Well, I should say when I was little, I kind of like had a sense that we weren't alone in this world, that humans were the only entities in that existed in the world, and that it was okay. Just kind that first recognition of knowing that we weren't alone, that humans weren't the only entities that were on that inhabited the space. That was in New Orleans. That started when I was younger, and it's something that, similarly to Reverend Ivy, it's something that was spoken about and very natural for us growing up. One of the things that I do appreciate about my mom was the fact that she trusted my gut. Like, when I would tell her something like, "Mom, something doesn't feel right," she actually listened to me, and that taught me to trust my intuition from an early age, and that was really affirming for me. My family from both sides, all of my dad's families from New Orleans, and my mom's maternal family is from down there as well. And visiting every so often, like, we moved back up here to Buffalo when I was 4, and every few years we would travel back to New Orleans, and I just, felt this ancestral connection down there. And the thing is, what's interesting is when I hit 23, 24, I really kind of disconnected from source and intuition. Like, I prayed, I was, went to church, but this pull, this calling, I was kind of intentional about blocking it. And I think it overwhelmed me. It scared me a bit. In terms of my numerology chart, I do have numbers in my chart that are very much connected to, as we all do, are connected to spiritual downloads. And I didn't know what to do with them at 23, 24. So I actually went to grad school. Ironically, one of my professors who helped me through the doctoral program, he died a year after I finished the program. And it was actually him in spirit that nudged me to go and study with Ivy. I actually was a guinea pig in one of Ivy's tarot courses. It's because I think I was sharing this with Christine the other day as well, where one of Ivy's previous students invited me to be a guinea pig. And I said, sure, I get, readings for a good price. That sounds great. And one of the things I remembered about Ivy is the fact that she was good with centering the students and the instructors. And she stayed in the back. And that just kind of struck me, and I didn't want to stare at her, but it was like, okay, something's different about her. It's like she didn't even want the spotlight, and Spirit just said so it's interesting how Spirit allows for us to file something away when we need it. And I remember this one particular day, this is the exact moment that I knew it was time to come and study with Ivy. And it was this one particular day, this professor who I love dearly, and ironically, it's his bookshelves that are behind me. His wife was kind enough to gift me them when she left town. I remember this one particular day, he nudged me and he said, okay, contact my wife, because his wife and I became good friends after he passed. And he nudged me, he said, contact. Call her, text her right now. Go ahead. Where's your phone? Do it right now. And I did. And I contacted her, and she had moved out of state. So I thought that she was where she was, out of state. And she said, Danny, I'm in Buffalo for 2 days and nobody knows I'm here. Like, let's meet for dinner. And we met, and she said, did somebody tell you I was here? Because nobody knows. And I kind of say, your husband who kept telling me to contact you. But it was more so, and she got it. She knew. And that was my, and it was interesting because I had signed up, I think, a month before classes started. And I remember Paul, God bless his heart, being really patient with me because I kept asking all these questions, making sure I was registered. And he was just like, just show up. You're good. Just show up. And it was, it's been history ever since. Like, with mediumship, it just has been a remembering, like, every class, all of the readings. It's just training with Ivy has brought me back to something that has always been there that I intentionally kind of blocked out. And then realizing that the numbers had started following me, and Ivy, similarly to Reverend Christina, she said, okay, it's time for numerology. And it was just, and I'm so grateful because it truly is a language, and it is a language that I have fallen in love with. And I just really appreciate the chance being able to teach it. So that's and also part of my journey has been, and gratefully, Reverend Ivy has invited and made a space for my mom in the academy as one of her assistant teachers in spirit, because a huge part of my journey was my mom passing away and becoming an ancestor while I was training in mediumship. So she almost became like my tutor in spirit as I'm learning about, I was learning about mediumship. So that's how I came to be.
We brought you both on board
Mm-hmm.
at just the right time. That really is incredible. Goosebumps. Okay, love it. So I know that I'm echoing. I'm not sure why or what we can do about it. And I think, did we give all the bingo cards out, Paul? Are we ready to start bingo?
Yeah, everyone who requested one got one.
Okay, very good. So let's go ahead and get started. We've never done this before. I mean, we're truly winging it. Okay, so we need like all the spirits to help us out with this. But we're gonna go ahead and start the bingo. So I figured the best way to do this is so we can give away as many prizes as possible. Paul's gonna call out numbers. And again, you guys figure out a way to mark them on your screen or mark them down on a piece of paper. And as soon as you get it, shout it out in the comment section. We're going to check it and move on to another one real quick. Okay. So Paul, you want to call it the first number?
I do. I'm pretty excited. This is very cool.
Church bingo. Who doesn't love it?
Okay. Oh, first one. 8.
What is it?
8.
Oh, okay. So it's not like bingo. Okay. So the first one is
No,
8.
we're going stripped
That's like
down.
numerology bingo. All right.
That's right. Yeah.
Where were you going? Okay. Very good. So same question to you, Reverend Paul.
Okay. Oop. There we go. Bingo back up there. Okay, I kind of forgot the question. What led me here? Okay. So for me, it was tough. It was a lot of off period. When I was a kid, I did like church, but I think that was more like it just was something different, and like we all went together, and it had this community feel. And then once that disappeared, and church got very strict, and I realized its limitations. Um, Especially for me, it was like I was set, so I kind of backed away from everything for a long time. And then I was, guess, 38, 39 years old. I left. I was in outside of Boston, and I had to come to Buffalo to work. And I didn't like leaving town really, but this day I was like forced to leave. Like I was just woke up and I'm like, I have to go. And I made it out here, and timing perfectly met Ivy, and she gave me a reading. So I was like, I kind of, let's just say non-believer, but I was interested. I took a lot of stock in things like dreams, and wasn't really against getting a psychic reading. I just didn't know how it would work. And I once had a friend who was like, you wouldn't be good at it because you have to be open and like express yourself, like let people inside, they're going to know things and you have to admit them. So I was kind of like, I don't know. I blocked myself off. So now I got a reading with Ivy, and she was probably like, I don't know, 5 minutes in, and she mentioned my dad's wife, Marie, and like her ashes and everything. And I'm like, this is it. All right, well, that door's open. You can't shut that. And so since then, I've been very open, very spiritual. It's like I reconnected with younger me in a good way. This is like kind of my quest in general, anyhow. And then like you start to think about more things that were on your path that opened up and were really kind of opening the door for you without you realizing it and setting you up. Again, like my dad's wife, Marie, she was very into astrology. Had books, crystals, and would always talk about horoscopes and stuff. At the time, I thought she was just kind of wacky, but it was really setting me up for that. And my dad, who was the one who brought us to church all the time, would mention my horoscope and be like, "Oh, you're such a Gemini," because he got into it too. So it was cool to see how his spirituality changed once he kind of got fed up with the rigmarole of of church as well, and like kind of could open up. So I think, having gone through it, having liked part of it, and then having it taken away from me, and then building it back up was on my own, or like just in a more natural way, was really what we needed, what I needed, I guess. Was there more to that question? What was that? Am I echoing like crazy?
Amen to that. So I don't know if I'm supposed to be putting myself on mute when you talk because we're both in the same house, Paul, or it doesn't matter. I put myself on mute. How did that sound to you guys? Fine. Okay. All right.
Because I could hear it, so I didn't know.
Okay. Well, I think that's amazing. No, that was the whole question. Is just sort of what led you here. I think it's really interesting that like all four of us had influence from our parents, but not in like any traditional way or any huge way. Even it was just enough that it made it okay for us. We had that adult to watch. That's so fascinating. Okay. Well, so you want to call out another number? Here we go. Back to bingo. Paul, what's next?
Six.
Okay, 6. Mark your cards. All right. Can you pop up the next question for us? And then we're going to have you call another number. Okay. What's the next number?
22.
22. All right. So we have a question here from Bethany Renner. Okay. And again, this is for all of us. How do all 4 of you know one another? I'll go first, then you guys just add whatever you want to this. How do we know one another? We know each other. Let's see, Christina. So Reverend Christina and she came in for a psychic mediumship class like 10 years ago. And I just remember watching her. I remember like, I couldn't even tell you who else was in that group. It was a fairly large group, maybe like somewhere between like, 12 and 15 people, but I don't remember anybody else from that group. I just remember her sitting across from me in this red chair that I had back then. It was in my living room and it had birds on it. It had birds where the door was open to the cages and these birds were coming out of the cage. And every now and again, Spirit would be like, have me focus on Christina. And I would have all these visions about things that were going to be happening for her over the next 10, 15, 20 years. And that led me to believe that like we had a long-term relationship together and we were going to be working together. And like she said earlier, at that time, she wasn't necessarily doing a ton with astrology. But I would also see different situations like in her life where she was like that bird coming out of this cage and going forward. And a lot of those things have happened within the last 2 years. It's just been interesting times. So we've been friends ever since. But I want to say we started really working together. She got into the psychic fair, this sort of circuit, I would say maybe like within a year of that. Reverend Danny, like she said earlier, she came in as a guinea pig looking for some, whether they were like super cheap reads or they were free reads with the students who were in my tarot class. Okay. Which interestingly enough, had originally been taught by Christina also at the academy. So I don't know if we were all even together then, but that was probably more like 7, 8 years ago, maybe.
That was 2015.
Okay.
2016.
Okay. So yeah, like 6, 7 years ago. So Reverend Danny was there and then she went off to go live her life and do whatever and came back several years later to train. And then Reverend Paul and I, it was Tinder. So what do you guys want to add to this?
I'm thinking, remember I had just recently had the dreams about the birds?
Yes, yes.
Didn't even connect to that.
And I had the same dream on the same night.
Oh, that's so weird though.
That's right.
I didn't even
about the birds. I didn't either.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Oh, that's so interesting. These things, they just come around like that. Like that makes total sense now. You know what I mean? It was almost like it came full circle. And yeah, I actually I think I went to a psychic fair, but I didn't get a reading. I just kind of walked around the Eastern Hills Mall, and you were there.
Yeah.
And then I went online and I was like looking at the pictures, and I clicked on Ivy's to see what she was all about. And I saw that she did classes. So then I just attended one of her classes. It was like life changing. But if I always think if I would have never went online just to see who was in that psychic fair, you know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy.
That is wild. And before we move on to Danny and Paul, you want to pull another number? Okay.
Four. So I will quickly recap. 4, 6, 8, and 22.
Okay, pull one more.
Okay. 19.
Did you say 19?
I sure did.
19. All right. All right. Reverend Danny, Reverend Paul, how did we all meet?
The having met you, but not fully, not a full introduction at your at the tarot class several years ago. Familiar with you, and actually, I think I may have had a reading with you back then as well. But in terms of meeting you and getting to know you, that was definitely in 2019, summer 2019, where I met you and Paul, and really had the chance to get to know you and just realizing and understanding the what the word to use meant meeting you has been, and how it's in our contract for sure, and realizing all of the ways that we are connected and have been connected in previous lives as well. And so that has been super just a treat. And with Reverend Christina, so it's interesting. I had been hearing about Reverend Christina throughout all of Ivy's mediumship courses. There was another course that I had taken, and somebody had said, you've got to contact Christina. You have to contact Christina for an astrology reading. Like, she's phenomenal. And then someone had said, it'll be months before you'll be able to get in to hear back from her. She's so booked up. And she probably was, but God bless her heart, she contacted me the next day after I contacted her. And I had my first astrology reading with her, and was blown away. And we have this Leo sisterhood that I really treasure. And she has been pouring into me and dropping gems most recently about a lot of things. And so that's how I've had the chance to get to know all of you. And Paul has just been, the patient, kind soul with all of my gajillions of questions with everything. So that's how I've had the chance to get to know all of you.
Love it. Paul, you want to pull another number and then you can answer? Okay.
$16.
16. All right. Reverend Paul, how did we all?
Well, as you had said, you and I met on Tinder, and that opened the door for me to meet Christina and Danny. I remember when I met Christina, she was teaching an astrology class, and I remember leaving Office Depot with a new notebook because I was excited. It was a black notebook with a red spiral on it to take this class. So I met Christina then, and like a couple months later, she gave me a chat. I remember that, and it was very cool. Christina was talking about that with Ivy like 2 nights ago. She had mentioned, I do record reviews, and you had mentioned Neptunian careers and stuff. And the album I got last week was called Grand Trine, and it had 12 tracks. And so I went in this whole thing like, 12 zodiac signs, 12 houses, and we did this whole review about it. And they were like, well, thank you so much. This is really great. And it's Thank you for that, Christina. So that's how I know Christina. And then Danny, as she had mentioned, came in for class. I didn't know her when she had volunteered before, but I had just finished level 1 and she was starting level 1. And so I was kind of sitting in and helping. And I remember the first day when she gave her reading, I was like, well, hot damn. And I don't know if it was then or slightly before. I think it might have been around that time. I had a dream with that I told Ivy, I was like, this black girl's going to come in and she's going to be like, I don't remember the specifics behind it, but I was like, we got to keep our eye on, like, this is going to be phenomenal. and then
I remember this. So Paul was new to the academy, the last one to come in, and he had a premonition dream about Danny. Danny, we told you about this, where you would come in as like maybe a volunteer, or you would come in for some kind of a psychic fair, and then you would end up becoming a teacher and this whole big thing. And I was like, Paul's on fire, Danny's on fire. It was nuts. All of that. Yeah, within a matter of months.
I do remember that. And I remember Paul telling me that too. And I was just like blown away and so grateful. And it's just been incredible.
It is like we're just all so connected. So I really think, I think that like the way that I saw the church happening, and we're talking, 10 plus years ago, I knew it was coming. But Spirit just kept telling me, you gotta wait for the right people. And I feel like with all of us, like, Christina and astrology would talk like South Node connection is past life connection, North Node connection is future connection. We just have all these synchronicities in our charts, our stars, our numbers, our contracts with each other. And it's nice to have that too, because it's nice to be in relationships where it's going to continue to grow. And I think that helps a lot. We're also focused on our growth. So that was a fun question. Thank you. Let's pull another number. What do we have, Reverend Paul? What's next?
9.
We don't have a winner on this yet. 9. Okay, let's pull another one. Okay.
Let me.
I would normally have all my doppers out and my ponies and my trolls. It's quite a rush. Yeah, I can feel it coming.
Yeah, we got some people that are close. I'm playing all your cards for you too. I'm like Rain Man, apparently.
All right, let's pull another one, and then we'll go on to another question.
Okay, next number. 3.
All right, 3. And what's our next question? You guys keep posting. You can, of course, post when you win. Okay, but keep the questions coming for us here. And again, if you're tuning in late, this is our thank you 1-year anniversary for Roots Revival Interfaith show. So Chicken Mama says, okay, I have a question for each of you. All right, I love how you guys are doing this. We just sort of go around. What is the one question you dislike being asked in regards to a reading as a reader? Okay, so we can all think on that for a minute. What's a question that you don't like being asked as a reader? All right. And Reverend Paul, you want to pull another number before we start going around on this? Next number is
21.
2121. All right, so I'll go ahead and go first. One of the things I don't like, or I'll just ramble off a couple maybe. I don't like when people are in a potentially dangerous pregnancy, and they want me to tell them whether or not their child is going to be okay, or if they're going to have a miscarriage. Like that to me is really anxiety inducing, because for obvious reasons. But also parents put too much pressure. I have a class I'm going to be doing called Parenting and Spirituality coming up here soon. I'm going to do it as a series. And that's one of the things is that parents put way too much pressure on themselves that it's their job to get pregnant and that it's their health conditions if it's not working and that if there's a miscarriage, that it's their fault. And I think what people don't understand enough is that it's up to the child to decide. You set your own life contract. You chose your parents before you came to earth. You chose exactly when and how you were going to come to earth. And at any point you could back out of that and then just like reincarnate and do it over again when you're more comfortable. And there are a million factors that dictate how that child's decision with their free will might go. And often it doesn't have a ton to do with the parents. And I did the same. We all do the same. And people take it as such a devastating loss if it doesn't work out because they don't really understand reincarnation and how typically a child that signs on to you, if there is a miscarriage or something, they will typically just come back through as the next child or even like 2 in a row or like the second one down, or as a grandchild. And so there's sort of this, finite idea on how it is. And it causes me a lot of stress. The other question I don't like is when someone knows darn well that they're doing something toxic, like staying with an abusive partner, and they refuse to leave because they're living in a fantasy. And I don't even want to take money for it. I try to set them straight, but I don't like when people come back repeatedly asking if they can continue with a toxic behavior in their life. Sometimes I have to cut the cord on that and say, I'm not discussing this anymore. I will not enable. What about you guys?
I really don't.
Do we have a bingo?
We get a bingo.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, Hunter.
Hunter. Okay.
So
Congratulations.
Hunter, you win free readings, 2 free readings at this month's Walk-In Night Virtual Psychic Fair. It's Saturday the 29th. I have your email address. I'll email you all the details.
Congratulations, Hunter.
And keep your card active because you could win more.
Okay. So do you want to pull another number then? So what are we doing now? Are we starting over and wiping that out?
No, I think we could just continue because some people are probably on the border of winning something else.
Okay. So why don't you call another number and then we're going to get on to Reverend Christina.
Okay. 2.
2. All right, Christina, what were you saying?
I don't like it when people say, well, I have children or anything that has to do with death. Because anybody can have children, but there's personal choices that go into that too. So if it's more specific, like they're having trouble having children, that's a different story. Then we can look at that, but it's just very general. You know what I mean? Like I need to look at more specific things, and you really can't predict death in a chart. You might see hints about it and things like that, but the soul usually decides when it's going to leave the body. And I really don't want to predict anybody's death anyway, so.
Like, what a way to suck the fun right out of it. It's just, death questions are not hot, not fun. I see we have another bingo. Who's that, Kate?
Kate S. won bingo. She wins a 15-minute call center reading with either me, Christina, or Danny. So your choice. I'll send you. I have your email. I'll send you whatever you would need to get that done, and a little coupon, and there you go. Enjoy. Thank you so much.
Yay. All right. Congratulations, Kate S. You want to pull another number? Five. All right. Reverend Danny, what about you? What do you not like?
So the question that really hurts my heart when people ask is why an ancestor or why someone who has crossed over, who's passed away, might visit a family member but not them, and they internalize it as, oh, this loved one must not want to visit me, and they just might not want to connect with me, and they take it personally and feel as though the ancestor is ignoring them or doesn't want to connect with them. And so immediately just kind of explain how and why a specific ancestor might not be as present, might be more present with a family member than they themselves, that ancestors are only, and spirits are only allowed to connect with us when they are going to be of healing. And even when we love them and they love us dearly, if their presence is going to cause us more grief and harm and pain, even though we love them dearly, they're going to wait until they know that we can handle their presence close to us and with us. So it ends up being an opportunity. We're able to explain the why behind it, especially, and I completely understand this as well, because when a parent passes, that parent, because the grief of losing a parent can be really hard, that parent might not come as close immediately because they know what we're going through. And I live that myself. And it's interesting because I remember Ivy speaking with you, and Mommy was so present with you. And she said, she's here, she loves you. She's just giving you a little time so that you can heal before she makes her presence more known. So that question hurts my heart, especially when I see the look in someone's eye when they're asking it, because they're taking it as my loved one doesn't want to see me, or they have forgotten about me or abandoned me or something like that.
So true. And I think so many of us have been in that situation, especially if you've ever gone to like a gallery reading, and like your cousin who's next to you or whatever keeps getting all the reads from your loved ones you want to hear from, and you may get nothing, but yeah, it's exactly that. It's about that law of the light and whether or not they can handle it. It can't be negative for you. You have to be ready for it. So there are a lot of dynamics there that are just really misunderstood. That's a good one. Reverend Paul, do we want to pull another number before you answer this? And then Shelby Bear in the comment section is asking for a recap on numbers. So I don't know if you could type those in. All right. Next number is
13.
13. 1-3. Lucky 13. Yeah. All right. And Paul, what do you not like? I will mute myself so it's not echoing.
Well, it's, I think, very similar to what Danny said. It's that whole, well, they didn't come see me, they didn't do this, or it's not the message they wanted. But also what I see a lot that, because you don't really know until you get in there. But the thing I just, as a reader, I'm not into is what you said, Ivy, is the people that come back with the same question every time. Like someone books a reading and you're like, oh, I know what this is going to be about. And it's the same advice you gave them 4 months ago. And you're like, well, you're still not doing it. It's the same question. It's the same question. And it's like, what's the point of doing this if you don't want it, because you're not getting this easy, oh, he's coming back to you or she's coming back to you answer, and it's like, and that's what I don't like the most is just people not taking spirit, their ancestors' advice, whoever comes in and tells them, they just throw it away. And it's equal to, what Danny was saying, where they're kind of upset that this person didn't come through. And like someone else's message, if this great Uncle Jack that they never met came in with the best advice ever, but it wasn't Grandpa, and so they're like, I don't recall him, so I'm not going to listen. And it's a very similar approach. I guess it's just the whole kind of dismissal of the message that I'm not into, be it repeatedly or in the moment. In the moment, really, those ones kind of sting too, because it's when after you deliver it and you're like, holy cow, that was awesome, and the person's like, meh, and you're like, what? like because you sit there and it goes through you, and how vivid and amazing that person was, like, this is huge, and then they're like, well, I'd rather $30. Where's Grandpa's $30? And so
Yeah, for sure. Like rejecting spirit. I think it's funny too, because like Reverend Paul, for example, has a bird's eye view because he handles the technology behind the Ivy League. So we know if you're getting a reading with Danny, a reading with Christina, a reading with Paul, a reading with me, a reading at Walk-In Night, a reading at the call center, a reading, we'll see, these like same people get like 50 different readings at once, hoping one of us will screw up and say the wrong thing, tell them what they want to hear. It doesn't work that way. So it's kind of entertaining, but not the way to handle spirit. And then, you know, these tend to be the same people that are like, well, my guides hate me, you know, or my loved ones, you know, don't want to have anything to do with me. We have to take responsibility and accountability for ourselves, or else they're enabling and they can't do that. So interesting. Great question. Thank you, Chicken Mama. That one was fun too. I think we have 2 more bingos, unless I'm reading it wrong.
Okay, so going through, Tracy says bingo. Let me see that here. Mute myself.
Yeah, and Andrea M says, I think he called 15. I think you did call 15. No? Oh, no.
Let me run through. Tracy says it. I have to go check this out.
Are you muted?
I see the first one. The next one in mind here was, or in line was Tracy. So I'm just going to double check here with the numbers. I ran a couple behind answering that question. So I'm going to go down the line of the bingos and announce when we get the next one. But currently on the hook is Tracy. So
congratulations. Okay, very good. And what did she win?
this is a 15-minute reading with you, Ivy.
Okay, so Tracy, I will see you for a 15-minute reading where I will talk to you on the phone is probably more likely. Wonderful, very exciting. And we have another question you want to pop up here. And then whenever you're ready to call off more numbers, you just let me know. All right, so Andrea M wants to know, do you all have animals and do you communicate with them? Okay. Are we ready for another number? Do you want me to go get started with this question? Okay, so I'll go first. Do you all have animals? Do you communicate with them? I do. I currently have 2 cats and many spiders in this old funeral home that I just bought. So, yes, I have 2 cats and I communicate with them telepathically. When I moved in here a few months ago, for example, they were used to hunting and they've always been indoor-outdoor cats. So it was hard to get them from a place where they were hunting all day, every day. And sometimes it was super gruesome and just terrible, the bodies that they would bring back. And, you know, often that was like, not that I don't feed them, but they would act like they're starving. You know, they enjoyed eating, you know, that was like chicken to them, basically. So, you know, it was hard to go from that type of an atmosphere to where we are now, where there aren't animals everywhere. We're not out, that was on an island and it was very much like a country atmosphere. And this is more city. So I have this sort of urban issue where there are squirrels, and I can't have them murdering these squirrels in front of everybody, and there are children everywhere outside. And I was like, this, you know, they're going to have to adapt to this. And I want for less of that toxicity here at this new house. So I spent weeks talking to them every day telepathically about how to treat the squirrel, how to watch the squirrel, how to appreciate the squirrel, how to interact if they want to nicely with the squirrel. And I thought this is probably the toughest interaction I've ever had with an animal because I'm asking for a lot. But I want to say it took about a month and a half. And I now have Jesus, the big orange one, in a place where he has made friends with the squirrel in the tree on the lawn, and he will chase it and it will chase him and they won't hurt each other. And we have not had one hunting accident since we got here. So yeah, things like that. Telepathy. What about you guys?
I don't currently have animals. I don't have pets, but 2 of my cats, that I had 3 cats growing up. And I think it just might be a Leo thing. Like, we think we're part cat anyway, so I had to have 3 cats. So we two of my cats, Shayla and Mavi, were the cats that I had as teenager. As a teenager, Silky was our very first cat when I was 8 years old, and Shayla sometimes comes through to me when I am nervous about something, or if I am, because it's interesting when I would train with Ivy in terms of ego, the way that ego showed up for me was fear. And so I would, every week I'd be like, Ivy, I'm kind of nervous. I'm kind of afraid. Like, what if I say the wrong thing? She's like, that is ego. Stop it. And she's just like, we can't have that. And I appreciate that. And so now at moments when I'm feeling nervous about something, what my cat Shayla used to do, she was this great, beautiful little thing. And the thing, she would chase this Dalmatian down the street. Like this Dalmatian was like 200 pounds and Shayla was like maybe 12 pounds soaking wet. And all of a sudden, every so often, we would see the next door neighbor's Dalmatian galloping down the street. And we're just like, oh God, Shayla's chasing it. And like, the dog actually ran. So there are moments when I will see Shayla, like she will give a vision of me chasing the Dalmatian, like, remember your power. Like, it doesn't matter how intimidated you might feel about something, just go for it. Like I did. Like she's reminding me, remember? Like I did it. So those are moments that she comes to me. And also my cat, Mavi, God bless her little heart. She's a beautiful little black cat, but she didn't know her own power. Like her little paws she had the biggest little paws, and she didn't understand the fact that, so Shayla just, in terms of astrology, I think that Shayla was probably an Aries or Leo, and like Mavi may have been a Cancer. No, because she would have kicked her butt if she's a Cancer. She, I don't know. She was, I don't know, but maybe a Pisces. I'm not sure. But Shayla or Mavi didn't know the extent of her own power. And if Mavi realized how big she was, she could have kicked Shayla's behind. But every time Shayla would walk by and like fluff her tail, Mavi would go running and hiding. So every so often, Mavi will show me her little paws. Like she'll show me she had this big paws, and every so often she would get enough of Shayla and smack her, and Shayla would go sit down somewhere in a corner and mind her business. But every so often, like I see the paws, and so they come through sometimes.
I love it. Symbolism, intimate symbolism. That's so cute. Reverend Paul, did we want to call another number or two before we move on to you and Christina?
I had like 3 people call out bingo, and I didn't see bingo on their cards. So
do you want them to post what they have? It looks like they're posting their numbers. Well, we can figure that part out later, but we could still call like a few. Okay. All right. So the next number is I think you're on mute. Oh,
15.
15, 1-5. Okay. Like I said, this is the first time we ever played church bingo online. We don't know it. So we'll figure out who won and what's happening here. So you guys just keep playing. And if you think you got it, shout out bingo, and we'll take care of the details later, and we'll message you guys with your prize. You want to call out one more? And then Christina or Danny, whoever, or Paul or Christina, whoever wants to answer this next.
Andrea did win on that. There was a diagonal. Tricked me.
Congratulations,
So,
Andrea.
So yes, Andrea wins the 15-minute reading with Ivy.
Okay. Very exciting. We'll talk to you soon then. All right. And what's the next number?
Do we get? Can we not pull so many numbers at once?
Okay, we could slow down on the numbers. Okay, good. How about Christina? You want to answer this question? And then we are at about the end of the night here. So
yeah, I always have a couple of dogs in the house, but it's funny. Reverend Danny gave me a reading. It was yesterday, right? And she had said something in my chart about being the mom energy, you know, and I have a lot of Cancer in my chart. And it's really how I operate my life, you know, very intuitively. I have that that motherly intuition. And that is how I interact with the dogs. And I always just know what's going on with them intuitively. I never even really thought about that question until it was posted. But yeah, I guess I do communicate with them, but it's like, it's almost just like, it's just like without even thought, you know? But yeah, like, it's so funny. Like, everybody should get a reading with Reverend Danny because, it was very clarifying. You know, it was like, the universe was like, yeah, you're on the right path. This is what was meant for you. So, but yeah, that did come up, and, you know, and that's just how I operate my life. So, you know, even in my job, I know what people are thinking. I know what their needs are immediately, you know, without thought. So it's very intuitive for me.
Yeah. What do you say?
Reverend Christina's her expression number is 6. She's like the cosmic mother, cosmic parent. Like, and the 2 and 6 are like the most loving numbers in numerology, and that just makes so much sense that her expression number is 6, and she's magic. Like, when I saw her chart, I was like, oh yeah, she's magic all the way.
That's so cool. And the way too, Christina was just saying, you don't even think about communicating with your animals, it just comes naturally. I think we were all like that when we were kids. I think we all felt that, well, like, animals were our best friends. They were like, there was a complete and total understanding. And getting back into psychic mediumship work and stuff like this, you know, working with your intuition, it brings that connection back in a lot of ways. Healing work, also energy work, you know. All right, Reverend Paul, did you want to answer this one, or do you want to skip it because you've already got your hands full?
Well, no, I will answer it. So I always grew up with cats, and you know, I didn't really feel like I spoke with them, or you know, I don't think I tried to as much, like telepathically. I know I would just speak it, and I think that they probably understood me more than I understood them. Whereas, like, flash forward to nowadays, and you know, I learned from Ivy, you know, yeah, communicate with the cats telepathically. Um, but it's funny because I want to speak more about Ivy communicating with the cats than me. When, you know, the way she can communicate with Esmeralda, it's like, it's amazing. Like, I've witnessed it, like, firsthand, that trying to get the cat into the cat carrier is not happening. And then, you know, she's like, go upstairs, put the cat carrier down, and just be ready. And then, like, 5 minutes later, the cat comes in, like, never comes in. And then it's just like, all right, pick me up and put me in. And they had this whole thing. And it's amazing to watch their connection. I can't believe it. But as far as readings go, pet readings, I think I don't get to do them as often, but they're very fun. Pets are hysterical. And, you know, much like when we just talked about kind of skipping over a message in a reading, you know, if a cat comes through with a message, they may not take it as much as, you know, grandpa, but a lot of the times they were a lot closer to the person than that person ever realized, that their connection was, you know, something supremely strong. And this cat coming through with a message is gonna, you know, they're like, why would the cat give me the message to, like, you know, dump my boyfriend? It's like, well, why not? You know, and they come through, they're so strong, they're so funny, and they just have a completely different perspective, that it makes me see my cats in a different light. You know, I'm like, what are they thinking? What would they tell me if they could? So I try to communicate telepathically, but most of the time it's just me talking out loud and listening.
Yeah, we forget that animals are the healing entities, you know, that we've got, like, angels. I always say it's a triad, right? We've got angels, and then we have empaths and animals, and we work together. So absolutely, like, animals come through all the time with healing messages. That's what they do best. And, animals there's even like a purr machine that amazed me for like NFL players that use it, or I don't know, sports players a lot. It's like a cat's purr, how it heals the body. And when you're sick, your animal will sit on the part of you that needs that healing, and they'll sometimes absorb what you have and then excrete it. It's just phenomenal. All right, that was a great question. I know we are at time, so we do need to wrap it up. Reverend Paul, did we want to call another number? Are we wrapping up bingo at this point, or where are we with that? Wrapping it up. All right. So thank you again, everybody, for 1 year. This is our 1 year anniversary for Roots Revival Interfaith, where we believe in a combination of intuitive intelligence, astrology, and numerology to keep you on your true life's path, heal yourself, and ultimately be able to go out there and heal others. We are so blessed with the success of this church. It's been a long time coming. I want to say between 12 and 15 years, and to finally have it up and running has just been an incredible experience, and we just love you guys. Please stay in touch here. Do like and subscribe, and we will see you guys back here next Sunday. We are on winter hours right now, so we have a Sunday service 8 p.m. Eastern on TikTok and YouTube. Also, if you like to listen on the go, you can go back and listen to old sermons anywhere that you can download a podcast. And if you like to watch here on YouTube at Ask Ivy, go up in the playlist under Roots Revival Interfaith. Closing words, you guys?
It has been such a blessing to see our Roots Revival, to see our services and to see our church like evolve the way that it has, like going from a mission and our Pastor Ivy, your vision for Roots Revival, and us thinking about and brainstorming about it and seeing how Spirit and everyone who's joined us, how it's like literally life has been breathed into it. And I'm so grateful for all the ways that I've been healed as a result of our sermons as well. It is, I've heard it said that we are co-creators with God, and like we literally have been co-creators with God, and I'm really grateful for your vision. So, and thank you for the chance to be a part of this journey, Pastor Ivy. I'm really grateful to be here with all of you.
So blessed to have you, Danny.
Yeah, I think that each week, even when I sit down to write, from Spirit, it heals me as I write it, and then it heals me even more as I say it. And for me to be able just to pass that message on, it's a true honor. And to work with 3 other amazing people, it just higher my vibration, and it helps me through the week, get through the week. So I thank you all for that, and for everybody that attends as well and interacts.
I feel that too. Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, and although I'm not on every week, it's like I'm always here, and so just to be able to be a part of it and listen to these 3 brilliant women speak every week is like, enlightening, and gives me huge perspective on everything. Like even I know the topic going in, and it's like here's my thoughts, but then hearing everybody go through and just say, wow, that's holy cow, that's awesome, and seeing how everybody works well together and plays off of each other, and just that there's such this commonality that we and different approaches to it, but it's watching the interplay and hearing the interplay is so great. It's been an awesome year. I remember when Ivy's like, all right, we're doing it, and we did it, and we're the first one, and it was like, this is cool, this is something. And as Ivy mentioned earlier too, like seeing it do so well on TikTok is really awesome to see a different audience, and going through the comments and seeing what and how it's affecting people is really something. So thank you everybody for an awesome year. Thank you, Ivy, Danny, Christina. Thank you so much. It's been awesome. I look forward to a million more years.
Yay. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, and when you don't see Reverend Paul, it's because he's in the comment feed and handling all the tech. And we do plan to open the doors soon. Quite a few of you have been asking about coming for church services. And as I feel we are getting COVID under wraps more, we will be opening the doors soon. So for anyone who's local, you may also want to come and join us for that. All right. It was so fun to get to interact with you guys a little bit more this week. And I love you, all three of you. Thanks again so much. Thank you, Spirit. Everybody have a great week.
Thank you.